Russian hackers helped the Labour Party, Jeremy Corbyn denies it, and we look at the debate between Jeremy Corbyn and Boris Johnson. Now, you guys remember a couple of weeks ago when Jeremy Corbyn and the Labour Party organised this press conference to expose a leaked secret governmental document on the trade talks between the UK and the US, and the objective was to show and expose how Boris Johnson is actually selling the NHS to Donald Trump for some reason, because America is so desperate and they want our healthcare for some reason. And we've already covered this on our channel and how ridiculous it was, but now the conversation is shifting towards how and where Jeremy Corbyn actually got this document. Now, Reddit, the website, have revealed that they followed the trend of these sort of activities online, and there is a Russian group of hackers behind this, and they have not only exposed this document on these so-called trade talks between the UK and US, but Jeremy Corbyn yesterday also, 2 days ago, came out at another press conference to expose another secret document about Boris Johnson's Brexit deal. Now, it's interesting because this is the same group of the same trend that got Hillary Clinton and the US Democrats into trouble. Because for a couple of years, the Democrats were going around saying, oh, there is a link between Trump and the Russians. And actually turned out to be there's a link between Hillary Clinton's team and the Russians. And same thing's happening to Jeremy Corbyn. Now, before we continue, I'm sure you've noticed this canvas print behind me. There is a Brexit-supporting startup company called Photo Funhouse. And they put people's faces into funny paintings and pictures. This is a Brexit Leave Alliance version. As you can see, I'm outside number 10 with Boris Johnson and Nigel Farage. And then we've got the Remainers down there looking at us, not really happy. The details are absolutely brilliant. I love how the way my face had turned out, so accurate. And I also enjoyed Boris's untucked shirt. You can actually get this in a male version, female version, and there are also various different templates as well. So make sure you check out the link in the description. Now, as we mentioned, Reddit, the website, have followed the trend, and they discovered that there's this Russian group behind these leaked documents that Jeremy Corbyn is bragging about. The Labour leader has been using these classified documents that are detailing the trade talks between the two countries to show this basically scaremonger and start this disinformation campaign against Boris Johnson. The Prime Minister has dismissed the claims as total nonsense, and his parties said that the Labour leader had misrepresented the documents and quoted sections out of context. The documents first appeared in a post on Reddit in October, and the site has now said that it believes it is part of a campaign that has been reported as originating from Russia. Now, this was the first document that Jeremy Corbyn revealed, which was about the trade talks, and towards the end of this week we had the new one, which is on the Northern Ireland Protocol and Boris Johnson's Brexit deal. Again, Jeremy Corbyn exposed some ridiculous stuff that was out of context and not true. Now, we all know the Labour MP Andy MacDonald, or as we call him on this channel, Angry MacDonald, because every now and then he loses his temper. He was asked on Sky News about this, and this was his reaction.
Well, let's just get it right, Stephen. The document came from Her Majesty's government, and there isn't anybody who was
it? I mean, there were questions raised only this week about whether it actually was a genuine document because of some of the language used in it.
I think when you had Liam Fox, whether it was on your programme or another one, he didn't doubt the accuracy of that document. He didn't argue with its content. And I just asked the question, what are we concerned about? The veracity of the document or where it came from? We are effectively...
Let's be clear. Are you saying you don't care if this document effectively came from the Kremlin?
Of course he doesn't care if it came from Kremlin, as long as it helps the Labour Party's agenda. But interestingly enough, all these leaked documents and Jeremy Corbyn's press conferences haven't really made any changes in terms of the public opinion. We had the first debate between Corbyn and Johnson a couple of weeks ago, and last night on BBC, Nick Robinson hosted another debate. And again, just like the first result, Boris Johnson won. Now, following BBC's leaders' debate between Johnson and Corbyn, YouGov conducted this poll that showed that 52% of the public said that Boris Johnson did better, which is an ironically interesting figure, 52%, deja vu. Yeah, the public opinion hasn't changed because people aren't stupid. Just because Jeremy Corbyn calls for a press conference and says something doesn't mean people are believing it. So, but I love the irony, because if it was the other way around and the Conservatives was somehow linked to Kremlin, everyone would have lost their mind. Just like how right now the leftists and Remainers are going crazy over this scarf that John Smedley have made for Boris Johnson. Now, during one of his campaign trips, Boris Johnson was given a scarf made by John Smedley, the knitwear brand, that says "Get Brexit Done," and he's been showing off, and the backlash is amazing because John Smedley as a brand are also behind providing Stormzy some of this clothing. And obviously, as you know, Stormzy is a massive Remainer and massive socialist behind Jeremy Corbyn. So now socialists and Remainers are calling on Stormzy and everyone else to boycott John Smedley, because how dare you, in a free market system, provide a knitwear to someone that I don't agree with? How dare you? So this is happening in this country during this election. But at the same time, they don't really care about what's happening with Russia and Jeremy Corbyn, because no, that's not important, but a scarf, whoa, that's very important. Everybody stop everything. So this is the situation with John Smedley and Boris Johnson. And now, last night's debate, as we said, Boris Johnson did slightly better. Actually, both played it very safe. Boris Johnson wasn't as witty or as punchy as he could have been. He just played it really calm and kind of just to make sure he doesn't mess up anything. Jeremy Corbyn, just boring, low energy. And so it was in the spin room afterwards that the representatives of each party had to essentially debate on TV to make their points. We had Matt Hancock from the Conservative Party, and then you had Barry Gardiner from the Labour Party going on about their Brexit policies. And yeah, it didn't really go well for Barry Gardiner.
The way in which you get Brexit done, right, the way in which you do it is you actually negotiate something that's not going to destroy the just-in-time supply chain upon which so many thousands of British jobs depend, and you go back to the British people, and what you do is you say, you have the final say, you have the final say, not the politicians in Westminster,
but what do you think,
the
Barry?
public.
You, Barry Gardiner.
What I think is that that's the way of doing it that will unite the country together again.
Yeah, but in that referendum, we know what Jeremy Corbyn wants. He wants a customs union. He wants close alignment. Would you back that deal? Yes or no?
My view
yes or
is that is a decent deal to offer the British
you would back
public.
It? Would you back
It's
that?
a decent deal to offer the British public, and it's not about what the politicians want, it was what the
So you've
public
got to show
want.
some leadership on this issue.
Leadership is about bringing the country together, not dividing it.
Goodness, they're
the ones that want to divide the country, right?
Barry,
on the
just-
one
just
hand,
stop-
you've got an extreme.
stop
I'm
for one
answering the
moment.
man's question, please.
you're not, that's the point.
You've got on the one hand. You've got a Tory party that wants to take us on to a no-deal Brexit, having broken their promises
Are
to
you
the
in favour of
DUP.
Brexit or not, Barry?
And on the other hand, you've got the Liberal Democrats. Well, they used to be Democrats; they're no longer Democrats because
He's
they
still
won't
talking,
deliver.
But there's no answer. Are you in favour of Brexit or
not
not?
your
Barry?
Brexit, I've told you. Not in favour of your Brexit.
What about-
Matt. It's a
what
terrible
about-
deal,
what about-
as you well know, and that's
what-
why the DUP are no longer
Crikey.
supporting it.
What
Because
about-
it's a border down the Irish Sea.
What about the Brexit that Jeremy Corbyn negotiates? Will you be in favour of that or not?
I think it's a very good. If we get that deal, it's a very good deal to
How
put
can
back
we
to the public.
possibly
And
hope
that-
to
and
run
that-
the
and that-
government?
Barry, can you name one person in the Labour shadow cabinet who will back Jeremy Corbyn's new Brexit
Yeah.
deal? Who?
John Trickett.
Someone else?
You would go for
Somebody? Anyone?
our Justice Secretary,
Richard Bergen.
Richard Bergen.
He would back a new Brexit deal.
I believe he would.
What about
yes,
you,
absolutely.
Barry?
Yeah, I've said I think it's a good thing to put to the British public and
don't
then allow them to have the final say.
I think people can summarise from this conversation the total lack of leadership. Imagine this
It's not
not
a lack
in
of
government.
leadership. It's
Imagine them in
it's not a
government.
matter of leadership, Matt. Leadership is about uniting people. You want to divide people in this country
we want to,
in
no, on
exactly
the
the
contrary,
same
we
way
want
as
to get
you've done.
Brexit done.
Yeah, I think that's 1-0 to Matt Hancock. Now, as we said, this canvas print behind us is photofunhouse.co.uk. I'll put the link and their website in the description. Make sure you check them out because they got obviously the political versions, they got non-political versions where you could put your face into funny paintings and photos. As you can see, I'm outside number 10 with Boris and Nigel. You could get that in male version, female version. Make sure you check them out and support them, because they're a startup company, but they're also Brexit supporting, so they're one of us. And if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed the content, make sure you subscribe and click on the bell next to it. And as always, if you want to follow me on social media, Twitter and Instagram, you can find the links on the screen. And I'm Tousi, and I'll see you guys in the next video.